Yeah,
Man.
we saw yourself. You got the cold tub. You got the sauna going on.
Dude, listen, man.
Gary Brecka in your life?
Gary Brecka is like, helped me. I dropped those first like 60-some pounds effortless with him. We just did our blood work, our first 90-day blood work cycle together to see the differences. Insulin down, hemoglobin's great, liver's doing great, kidneys doing great, heart strong. I had obviously being a big guy, I had a spike protein marker in my heart. It was just a little bit, showed a lot of inflammation. Big cars, big engine kind of thing, but still not right. I mean, it's the effects of obesity, right? That's went down dramatically, points, a whole
That's
point
awesome.
or something, point and a
No
half, 2
shit.
points in 90 days. Like, I've been a pre-diabetic, as you could imagine, like at a 6.2 forever, as long as I remember. Like, how I'm not a full-blown diabetic, mind-blowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So, and it went from 6.2 to like 5.9 in 3 months. And that just seems like 3 points, but that's a consistent 90-day blood marker.
Right.
It's not like your instant, the prick of what's in your bloodstream. That's a 90-day. I've only had 90 days
Right.
to
And
get
it's
down
only
those
getting
3
better.
points.
What is the
that
number?
A1C? You see what I'm saying? Like this, I should have just brought my blood work. We could have nerded out about it. I'm so proud of it.
What is the?
I'm carrying my blood work around like when I was in jail and I carried my paperwork around to prove I didn't snitch. Like, see, I didn't snitch. Read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would never tell.
Yeah.
Dude, what is? You said 5.8, 6.2. Like, what's the number that you're a diabetic?
6.3.
Oh shit, you were right there.
Yeah, it's called being a pre-diabetic. I've been at a
Diabetic there. You can
6.2
spit some
for like
game.
a decade.
Right.
So I'm type 1 diabetic.
Oh, wow.
You get the other one.
So to give ref to your A1C, like I check my blood sugar. You probably seen me do it before.
Yeah.
That's an immediate result, and you know exactly in real time what your blood sugar is. Your A1C is essentially like what Jelly's saying, like a 90-day average of where you're at. It doesn't correlate to the number you'd see on a glucometer, but the A1C is crucial because like mine, being type 1 diabetic, it's good if I'm like 7.2, and 6.2 for someone who's not is like considered you're on the verge of it. But you want to be between 5 and 7 being like the max. They want you in between like 6 and 7 in like the decimal point system. But yeah, the A1C is just like your average glucose over the last 90 days. It gives you a good measurement for long-term effects. And
Dr. McPherson, man.
Yeah, I should have brought the paperwork, dude. We've had a really cool, it's been cool.
How'd you get put on with Gary?
I just same way I did y'all, same way I get put on with everybody. And I learned this from Rogan, being a Joe Rogan fan. When Joe Rogan was like, man, I just get into the stuff I'm a fan of. It's like, that's what I do. I just get into the stuff I'm a fan of. So like, as soon as I started seeing the Dana White Trent change, because it was like clear to me. Because, Dana White, we watched Dana White fight Meniere's before. Like, being a fan of his over the years, I've seen him go through some shit. And I've seen him look really bad, like scarily, like big and red faced, like puffy, and just like scarily bad. And I mean, you hang out with him more than I do. Man, that dude looks incredible,
bro.
He looks young. He's sharp. He hears great. Remember, I used to not hear nothing.
No, he still can't hear.
Yeah,
great.
there's
still got that one.
It seems like that left ear is bad.
He's always got that little turn up. Would you say?
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, he
just seems really, and I started watching his transition, so I was like, man, I should maybe reach out to this guy. Maybe I got some blood work that's off. Maybe he can see something. So I just cold hit him. And lucky for me, his wife, Sage, love you, Sage. Sage is the best. Sage is a country music fan, so she knew who I was. They just loved, like, her and her daughter. Her daughter's Bailey's age, so they love Morgan. They just love the whole community of country music.
Yeah.
So they were familiar enough with me to be like, yo, we want to get you on a thing with him. So Gary immediately got involved and changed everything, and I bought right into it too.
Really?
It didn't take me no time at all, man.
That's what I'm curious about, because I mean, I've been around you, like we've known each other for what, 4 years now?
5 years?
5 years?
Yeah,
5
something
years.
like that. And I feel like there's been like moments and phases to where you're in the middle of doing something.
Right, he's showing up with a gallon of water that has
Right.
lemon juice in it.
Right.
He's like, I'm doing it, boys.
Right.
Well, hell yeah.
And being super intentional with this one this time. What feels different about it?
I think it was really realizing that I just want to feel good. Like, I said this whenever we did our 5K, and I meant this. I thought that every problem I had in life would be solved if I ever found any kind of success and stability. And then I started getting success and stability, and none of those problems were solved. And I know that's the old cliche thing. And trust me, when I was broke and I heard wealthy people say this, I would get sick. I'd be like, if you don't love your money, give it to me, you fucking fat asshole.
Right.
I'll be happy with it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It's like, but that's not like, trust me, I enjoy the things that money can do. But it was that, and I'll let y'all know if we can keep this part in, because if we can, this will be the biggest clip of this show. My wife and I are talking about having a baby. And it really made me realize at almost 40, I was like, that means I got to live to at least 60. I got to see this kid into college. Like, and my plan was never to be 60. It was to be like 55. I think Garcia died at 56. So since I was young, I was like, 56 would be great for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when Garcia went, I'm in. You know what? It sounds better than 27. That's when all the other stars died. It's 27 or 56 in celebrity world. Let me be 56.
That's what you want to go.
But now I'm like, well, I'd like to see my 60s. You know what I mean? And that really lit it up. And being able to see blood work got kind of nerdy. Do you have a Libra on you?
No.
Have you ever wore one?
Yeah, so I wear like, it's got a Dexcom G7, and it's just like they're trying to find a continuous loop, which is like a device you wear that registers your blood sugar and then gives you the appropriate insulin. That is essentially the cure they're looking for. But I have a thing I can wear on me that constantly monitors it, but I'm not wearing it right now.
I know this sounds crazy, but I just started nerding out about it, Taylor. I got this thing. He knows what I'm talking about. It's called a Libra. And it'll show my constant blood sugar in real time, right? So then I started getting nerdy and being like, I would eat certain things to watch the effects of it.
Yeah.
And it's little shit like that has just changed my whole life. Now I just want to eat better because I feel better.
Right.
Like, I know that sounds so corny, and who would have thought, being fucking fat my whole life, that I would feel better if I just ate better?
Yeah, but it's not the craziest concept.
It's insane.
Because it's like when I was 310 pounds, or when anybody is overweight or anything, or eats like shit and has a good body, it becomes your norm. So you just think this is how normal feels all the time. And you really don't start realizing until you start peeling back layers, doing the blood work and eating a little bit healthy and getting that 1, 2, 3 weeks of eating healthy, where you're like, I can notice an obvious difference in my mood, my cognitive function. I can even start to see it a little bit. Hey, that wasn't there before. That's kind of nice to have that there. Like, you start to see those things. Now you start to realize what you were dealing with wasn't normal. The normal's over here. You just have to get to that point. Yeah. And so I think it is one of those things that people don't think about a whole lot. There's like, oh, I always feel X, Y, and Z. Right. Not realizing it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
But getting obsessive with the measuring, the data and everything else, I feel you on that, because then it's like your competitive nature, it becomes like a little game.
It starts to, and dude, I'm falling in love with the clarity I'm getting. Like a clarity I've never had. Like, man, I get out of that. I wake up every morning to do anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes in a sauna. And then I immediately do 6 minutes in the cold water, and then I go for my walk or go for my swim. It's the first thing I do every morning. And I'm thinking so clear in that sauna, man. I've only been up 6-7 minutes, and I'm just already just cooking. It's just, man, I've just never felt more fucking focused and dialed in. I get to bring the sauna and the cold plunge on the road now.
No shit.
Yeah, because you know how Dane is. I told Dane, I was like, hey, how do you carry your mobile sauna? Well, he just sends me one. Already in a case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it's like to have real rich friends.
That's
you know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, no problem. We'll send it straight over.
Yeah.
And they literally, I got one in storage now. It just follows me. It's great.
For real.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That is sick.
What's like?
And Gary Brecka's the guy. Have y'all been with him yet? Y'all should fuck with him. Y'all should have him on.
Yeah, we would love to have him on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We went back and forth in.
I think we've been out to him for a few months
like
now.
January was when we were kind of talking back and forth, and then he went on Rogan, and then he went on Nelk Boys, and then he went on all these other shows. And so his people kind of reached out and were like, well, what are your guys' numbers? What's going on here? And I think that's when the red tape hits. Because I've been around Gary on 3 separate occasions now. Every single time I've enjoyed him. Every single time he's just a wealth of knowledge, great personality. Like, and he seems like intentional when he speaks to you. Yeah. Like, he's not trying to think about the next thing he has to do. He's right there with you. So I really enjoy him. Yeah. One person he's had on his show, his podcast, Superhuman Podcast or whatever, is Gabrielle Lyon, who Will and I work with. Oh yeah. And she's in the same world. She does very similar blood tests. You get on Zoom with her and all that stuff. And it is fascinating stuff. Right. To kind of find that little edge of where you can kind of get better and what your body can process, what it can't process. And because when we get older, I mean, dude, I'm 32 and I'm like, I got a shoulder, the knee, that my fingers are facing different directions. And you just kind of worry, like, now that part of my life is over, I want to make sure that cognitively I can handle stuff and I can, be old enough and I can run around with my kids when they're older and all that stuff. You really start to think about future stuff than you do right now. Yeah. It's tough.
Was that something you thought about when you got the weight off?
Like
Have you already talked about this a bunch on this podcast? I don't want to make you talk about
no, I haven't really talked.
about
We like Will just kind of mentions, hey, Taylor lost a lot of weight, and I say, yeah. Like we haven't talked about that, but like I noticed like back pain or sleeping on my side, my shoulder would hurt in the morning, and now that my shoulder doesn't really hurt in the morning, my back doesn't really hurt anymore. Like there's things that I just thought were normal because I'm playing football, I'm lifting weights.
You play through everything.
You play through everything,
Right.
and then you start to get you start to lose weight, and you're like, oh damn, like this already feels so much better to me.
Right.
That I'm like 260, 255.
Yeah.
And it's a noticeable difference.
Was it intentional though?
To lose that weight?
Yeah.
When I knew that the writing was on the wall and I was going to get cut and, the knee thing happened and all that, I was like, let me, I'm just probably not going to eat for a little bit. I'm
shredded. Get
yeah,
jacked.
I'm
You're like,
lucky.
hey, it's get jack season.
Yeah, get jack season 24/7.
Yeah.
I
You got on
I
carnivore
was like, I have a
immediately, I
lucky
think.
body type where when I was at my playing weight, it was, 3 shakes a day that were 1,200 calories, 3 meals, and I'm losing 5 pounds at night. Like I always had to be a guy that had to gain weight. So when I kind of just ate normal for a little bit, it just flew off.
Yeah.
I lost like 30, 40 pounds in a hurry.
Mhm.
To the point Will's like, hey, you're starting to look a little sickly.
Hey, buddy, how much-
Yeah.
you're as light as me right now.
Yeah.
Is everything all right
getting
with
a little
you?
wild. It was, you kind of just live. And I've never lived like that before in sports where you like live and you're just eating when you're hungry and that's it. You're not like shoving a meal. Like when in high school, we joked about this. Like I would wake up at 3 a.m. just to have a protein shake.
Wow.
And I'd go back to sleep, not realizing that's actually horrible for you to do. But you would do shit like
But
that.
when you're like trying to put on the weight,
Yeah,
them
you're obsessed with the
scholarships.
process.
You're
Yeah,
trying to get them
100%.
schollies, dude.
But you can obviously see your body's already changing. What's your, now that you see that this is achievable, what is the goal for you?
I'm doing it in little goals.
Mhm.
So the 5K by May was my first one. And I needed that because between us, I came out of the gun hard for about 90 days.
Yeah,
And about 25 days before the 5K started, I just fell off the rails.
really.
Yeah, just gave up all that work, ate like shit a little bit on and off, had a couple of big drinking benders, just kind of went back to old habits.
You think, it's only a few hours that I'm doing today. Like
No,
that
yeah,
won't even be thought
the
about
schedule.
tomorrow.
I just let
And it
I don't
just
have
keeps
no
going.
excuses. The schedule
Yeah.
swallowed me, and I'd learned from it. I won't do it again. But I woke up the day of the 5K like I'm not as prepared for this as I was 3 weeks ago, which sucks.
That's,
And
a,
I
that's
still-
a tough feeling.
It's a tough feeling. And you show up and you still do it because I could because I got in better shape and I did lose a lot of weight and I was feeling better. But I had a moment then where it kind of refired me up and I was like, all right, now I want to do another 5K. I want to do it around Thanksgiving. And I want to do it at a constant jog. This right here was at a brisk power walk. I'm not embarrassed of my mile minute. It was like 18, 19 minute miles.
Yeah.
Which for me, when a guy that started at 500 and something pounds and couldn't walk a mile, felt great about that.
Yeah.
Right.
But now I'd like to get it down to like 16, 15 and a little jog, a really kind of slow, steady jog, and then go to the 5K, the Two Bears 5K next year and put up a real fucking time. Do
Yeah.
it twice like Bert did.
No
'Cause Bert
shit.
did it the first time and then went back and did it with me.
Really?
And if this goes the way I want it to, I am dragging Bert Kreischer to do a half marathon next fall.
Damn.
That's my
Okay,
plan.
I like that goal.
Yeah,
I like
these are
that a
my
lot.
plans. And I love saying it here because I said I was going to do the 5K on Nelk and fucking went and did it and lost a lot of weight. So y'all hold me to this just like y'all held me to it. And I had to show up in May and fucking sweat my balls off in Pasadena.
Yeah, and it kind of, I feel like, too, it probably remotivates you because you're getting around all your boys and everybody who was kind of either preparing for it or they're in the middle of doing something for themselves. You're just kind of like, Bert doing it twice.
Bert
Like,
doing
man,
it
I got to
twice.
fucking get back
Second
on the
time
horse.
it made me feel great. And it was cool to see how many other big guys did it because of Bert or because of me. Foley was there from, you know what I'm talking about, the Are You Garbage podcast. He walked it with us. He's a very robust man. You know what I'm saying? It's like he inspired me because I
Right.
kept looking at him like, we're about equally yoked here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't.
About equally
Yeah,
yoked.
I was like, this is fair.
Yeah.
My only goal was like not to let him smoke me quietly.
Right.
And I bet he quietly
In the back
had
of your
the
head,
same
just
goal.
thinking, this motherfucker.
He was like,
We're similar
if this dude
specimens.
starts jogging right now, I'm gonna die
Yeah,
because I'm going.
yeah.
I'll faint. You know what I'm saying? Before I let Foley beat me in the fist fight. And I'm sure he looked at me. That's how fat people size each other up.
Yeah.
I'm sure he looked at me and I was like, Foley, let's stick together so we can control our own
Right.
pace. I kind of
that guy
started.
jogged,
I
man.
roped him in immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, be my guy.
Imagine if you just took off at the start.
Yeah.
You just started ripping it. You're like,
He just
God
started
damn.
Fuck, I got a ways to go.
Yeah. Start catching you. Bro, that's awesome.
Nah,
That
it was-
is cool. You're knocking those things off, no problem.
Yeah, I feel
Just
good,
going.
man. And I do feel good. My testosterone's going up. My labs, as you could expect, were bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They just wasn't good. It's every level that could be off in an obese man, as you could expect. And just balancing some of that stuff out just helped so much.
Were they? They're obviously expected to be bad. Were they as bad as you thought they would be, or were there a couple of silver linings in there? You're like, okay,
Yeah, there was
kidneys
a
are doing
couple.
all right.
The kidney and the liver surprised me.
Yeah.
They surprised everybody for what it was worth. It was a big shock. You know what I'm saying? It was. You should have seen everybody was like,
Are
I
you
don't,
sure?
There
Do
was.
we-
They
do we
didn't
need
want
to
to tell
retest?
us.
Start looking it up in the thing.
Yeah,
We got to do that again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even
I think
Gary-
we're gonna go get a second opinion.
Yeah.
Even Gary was like, I don't want to tell you this, but your
Right.
kidneys and liver are incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but
That was about the 25 day out from 2 bears mark.
Yeah,
You heard that your
yeah,
kidney
yeah,
and liver
right.
was good. Like,
My
let's
kidneys are
fucking.
pretty good. Man. Tequila wouldn't be bad right now.
Yeah.